Welcome back to Going Solo. I'm Rick, and as you can see, we are continuing our final girl journey, this time with a new killer, Geppetto. Now, Geppetto is the first killer we're encountering that has minions, so let's first talk about the general rules for minions. And I've got my rule book right over here, just so I make sure that I don't miss anything. So first is verbiage. So there are 3 different terms that we may see on a card. Enemy, which refers to any enemy. So that's the killer or the minions. Minions would be just specifically the minions, and killer would be just specifically the killer. So minions are a limited resource that the killer will have. In this case, there are only 3 minion tokens, which means there can only be 3 minions in the game. So when we attack a minion, if there are multiple minions in the same space that we are attacking, then we can spread the damage as we need to across all of the minions. We cannot, however, split damage between minions and the killer. And finally, on the minions phase, there is going to be a minion action on the killer's board and card that will tell us what the minions do every turn. Each one of the minions takes that action separately in whatever order we want, and then after that, the killer takes their action. When we draw a terror card, unless it specifically says that it's only the killer or only the minions, the terror card will apply to both. So the minions will always go first, while the killer goes after them. If the minions do happen to kill somebody, one of the victims, bloodlust will go up as normal, and if a victim dies, any victims in any killer or minion space all panic. So that's the basic rules. So let's talk specifically about Geppetto's minions, which are his puppets. The main thing about the puppets is that they have to end their movement within 2 spaces of Geppetto. There are some instances where a terror card or a movement of Geppetto might force the minions to be more than 2 spaces. If that's the case, on the next turn, instead of targeting a victim or the final girl, the minion will target Geppetto and move toward him. I think that's the basics of the minions. They do have their own health and attack, which they have 1 hit point and attack for 1, but their movement matches whatever Geppetto's movement is. So at the beginning it's 1, but it increases as his does. I believe that is all of the special rules for the puppets and for Geppetto. Moving on to the Carnival of Blood. We've played this location before, so we all know that there are traps. They are mixed into the item deck and some mixed into the terror deck as well. If those are revealed, they happen immediately, and we have this handy reference card to tell us what they do. Finally, for the specific scenario rules, the only rule for this one is that our final girl starts with the found footage item and the Zappo item. Found footage is we can discard to cancel the effects of a trap or horror card. And Zappo we can use to search from a distance, but if a trap is found, we lose the item. So, I believe that's everything. Let's go ahead and jump in.
The kids came to the carnival in droves. It was, after all, a new attraction. A few carnies showed up and a lonesome wolf man sought a new home. It all started calmly enough. Everyone thought it odd that no one was there to sell tickets, and the booth was unmanned except for a small puppet in a chair. Asami and her friends assumed that it was part of the show, a campy stunt for a pop-up carnival. The animals seemed hungry, and the cages were in desperate need of repair, but they thought it must all be part of the act. There's no way they would have been allowed to set up something unsafe. Her friends, along with some other kids, started to wander off, and no one knew where they had gone. But Asami was sure that the cackling laughter coming from the big top was something to be worried about. Her worst fears were confirmed when a circus monkey named Zappo showed her footage of a carnival past and the horrors that awaited. It was then that Asami knew they would need to escape this ringmaster as quickly as possible.
Okay. So, to start off with, we get an event card. This event card is so much junk. When this card is revealed, find the Zappo item card and put it in your backpack. It was already there with the scenario, so. Reset the item deck if necessary. If you lose Zappo, roll one fewer dice, minimum of one, when resolving search action cards for the remainder of the game. So, if I lose Zappo, there's a chance that I will... Or if I lose Zappo, then I roll one fewer dice when resolving searches. So let's go ahead and see what we can get into here. I've got my zero cost action cards. We are playing as Asami tonight. She requires 4 victims saved to unlock her special power, and I'm going to do my best to actually accomplish that. I know it doesn't happen very often for me, but we're going to try. Give it our best go. Okay. So let's start off by trying to lower the horror level a little bit with a focus. I do start with 2 dice, as Geppetto's starting horror level is 4. That is 1 success. So horror goes down 1, and I lose 1 time. Then I'm going to try for a walk. Oh, or do I want to stay here? I'm awfully close to him, but he can only move 1 space. And the throwing axe is in this location. But then again, the throwing axe, I have a chance of uncovering something that I really don't want to uncover. Okay, let's move. We'll do a walk, because I can search with Zappo up to 2 spaces away. And if I can get the throwing axe, that will give me a little bit of extra damage, and I think that will be okay. Ooh, complete failure. Okay, so I lose 2 time, whichever way I go. But I can sacrifice a heart to still move 1 space. I think I will do that. And then I'm going to attempt another walk. Please don't give me another complete failure. Okay, 1 success. I can deal with that. I still lose 1 time and move 1 space. I am going to... Ooh, 1 more space and I could get another dice. If I don't pick up a sprint card, I don't have movement for this round, or for the next round. But I could take a search action card. I think I'm going to hold here. I'm going to discard my weak attack and short rest to gain 2 time so that I can take a search and a sprint card. So that's going to be my round. So now we move on to Geppetto. So with Geppetto, we first look at what his minions do. Let me tilt this up a little bit. I got a little bit of glare on it from my angle. Alright, so one puppet spawns, targets a victim, the closest victim, and moves. And then Geppetto targets either the final girl or a victim and attacks. So Geppetto doesn't move. Only the puppet does. So we are spawning one puppet. It always spawns in his spot. And it's going to move. Let's see. The closest are either going to be these or these. So I think this is going to be the way it goes. And then Geppetto, he doesn't get to move. He just attacks, but there's nobody to attack in his space. So we draw our first terror card. How did the tiger get loose? Alright, if there are no victims on the board, discard this card and draw the next terror card. All victims panic. Okay, all victims panic. So we're going to start with these two up here. A 2 and a 6. So one's going to go this way, one's going to go this way. We'll move over here. Both 4s. So they are both going to go this way. The 2 in my spot. A 1 and a 4. So one will go this way, one will go this way. The 2 at the big top. Both 2s. So they both head over here to this bigger group. And then the bigger group, we roll 4 dice for 3 5s and a 6. Why couldn't either of those be my checks? So 5s and 6s both go this way. All right. So that's all of our panic. And then target victims, move, and attack. So that's going to be the minions first. Target victims. Let's see. The closest is going to be either these, or these. And there's more of these, so he's going to go this way. Same with Geppetto. He's going to go this way, because they only get 1 space of movement. But then they attack, and there was nobody to attack. Do the following for the animal cage's space and all spaces adjacent to it. Animal cages. And all spaces adjacent. So adjacent would be this space, and this space. Victims there are killed. Enemies take 1 damage. And if I'm there, I take 1 damage. So all 4 of these died just now. Boom. We just lost 4 victims. Not a great start. So Bloodlust will go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means Horror went up 1. And we reveal our Dark Power, which is Join the Family. During the killer phase, if all 3 puppets are in your space, you lose all remaining health. You still resolve your final health token as normal. So if all 3 puppets manage to get into my space, then on the killer phase, or on the killer phase, then I lose all of my health. If I've got health for my final token, then I get another chance. If not, I die. So that's not great. All right, moving on. Victims were killed, but there's nobody in an enemy space, so there's no panic, and there's no upkeep to do. Okay. Also, enemies get 2 spaces of movement now, which is, great. Let's go ahead and do a search with Zappo under Things to Astonish so that I can get that throwing axe. So, 2 dice. Oof. Not great. I can't give up these cards. But I kind of have to if I want that axe. I just wouldn't be able to move anywhere this turn. Which means people are going to die on the next round. At least one is going to die on the next round. Okay. But I have to. So, I give those cards up to turn one of these into a success, which means I get to take the top item and I only lose 1 time. So I now have the throwing axe, which means I add an extra damage. Yay! Okay. That's really all I can do. So I'll take my cards back. I'm going to buy, let's see, I've got 5 points here. 5 time. So let's buy a distraction to attempt to get my 3rd dice. And a sprint. Okay. All right. So back to the killer phase. So first, a new puppet spawns. Then all of the puppets move 1 space towards their closest victim, but they don't get to attack. So this one will move here. This one will move here. And then Geppetto will move here. Nope, Geppetto doesn't move. Then, let's see. The minions don't get to attack. Geppetto gets to attack, but there's nobody in his space. Terror card. Where the hell did the blades come from? So for this, we need a token. Place the spinning blade trap in your space. Immediately apply the effects. Do I want to use my found footage to negate this? What's the effect of it? Roll 2 dice for each result. For 1 to 4, I would take a damage. For a 5 to 6, I can move. So I could take a maximum of 2 damage, or 1 damage and move, or I could move 2 spaces. I think... yeah, I'm gonna let this one happen. There's the token for the spinning blade trap. Also, for each 1 and 4, the horror level goes up. Ooh. Do I want the horror level to go up? That's a good question. Do I want to negate this so that the horror doesn't go up? Because that's really my... Yeah, I'm going to do it. So I'm discarding that trap, or that... I'm discarding the found footage to eliminate the effects of that horror card. That terror card, sorry. Horror level terror card. Alright. So, that terror card didn't get to do anything. Alright. So, nobody died this round, so there's no panic. And yeah, no upkeep. Alright, so back to me. I am going to play my distraction card. To see if I can reduce the horror enough to get me a third dice. Ooh, only 1 success. Let's get rid of weak attack and short rest to make that 2 successes. So I gain 2 time, and the horror level goes down twice. Then I'm going to focus. Ooh, ugh. Not great, but I can discard both my walks to turn that into a success. I still lose 1 time. Wait, so I was at 6. The distraction I did turned it into 2 successes. So that would have put me at 8. And then the focus, I turned it into 1 success, which would have brought me down to 7. Okay. And that gets me to 3 dice. Hopefully the horror level doesn't go up on their next turn. And then... Now I'm not going to get to those victims to save them. Let's go ahead and sprint. 1 success. So I get to move 2 spaces. So 1, save the victim, and I will... Let's go ahead and take my heart back, my health back. And then I can move 1 more space. So I'll move back over here towards these guys. All right. So that's the end of my turn. I've got 6 time left. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get a sprint so that I'll be able to move. So I've got 4 left now. With 4, I can take a Furious Strike. And I can take this last focus card. So that way, if the horror does go up only 1, I might be able to negate that. Okay. There we go. Alright, so it is the enemy's turn. A puppet spawns. Then all of the puppets target victims and move. This puppet will move here. This puppet will move here. And that puppet will stay where it is. And then Geppetto can kill if there's anybody in his space, but there is not currently. Next terror card. Endless Maddening Laughter. This one has several steps. Laughter rings out in each space adjacent to you. So that's these 3 spaces. All victims in those spaces panic. So these 2 guys panic. A 3 and a 5. So they both panic up this way. That's fine. Victims in a space with an enemy are killed. So these 2 victims are killed. Which means there's an event, but I'm going to finish this horror card first, or terror card first. If you are in a space with or adjacent to Geppetto, lose health equal to his attack value. If no victims are killed and you did not take any damage, resolve the next terror card. Well, victims were killed, so I did not have to resolve the next terror card. But we also get an event. Animal Panic. Each time the horror level increases, roll a number of dice equal to the new horror level and do the following. For each success, you may move a victim of your choice 1 space. For every 2 dice that are not a success, kill 1 victim. So that's whenever the horror level increases. Okay. So victims did die, but nobody is around to really panic. I really need to get up there quickly. I've only got the 1 sprint card, so we'll see if I can. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, there's no panic, there's no upkeep. So we're back to my turn. So we did not increase the horror level, which is great. So I'm going to hold on to that focus, and I'm going to attempt a sprint. One success, so I get to move 2 spaces, losing 1 time. So 1, 2. Enemies can now move 3 spaces, by the way, so we might be in some trouble here. That's all I'm going to do, because I don't have any more movement, and I don't have an enemy close enough to attack. I could focus to bring the horror level down 1 more. Let's see. If I don't do that... Well, either way, I could grab a retaliate card in case they get too close to me. So they would attack victims first. Well, I know I'm going to get all of those. Let's go ahead and give myself a little buffer. Maybe I'll even get 2 and get 2 more times. No, I got 0. Okay. So I lose 2 times for even attempting such a thing. Alright. So now I've only got 3. So I'm going to take a sprint, a close call, and my 0 cost. Alright. Moving on. Minions first. There's no more minions to call out. So they all take their movement towards the closest victim. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yep. They're all... Everybody is going to collect right here. Except for Geppetto, not yet, because he can't move. Yet. Okay. So our terror card. It burns, it burns. The acid trap token in your space. Okay. Acid trap token in my space. Immediately apply the trap's effects. You lose 1 health, and all 4 of these victims die. So that brings... Okay. So 2 will bring us up to the top with 2 revolutions. So we discard 2 terror cards. We also get another event. How dangerous can it be? During the upkeep phase, each victims move 1 space towards the closest trap. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue. And then horror increases by 2. And when horror increases, we have to roll dice. So the new horror level is 3. So we roll 3 dice. Each success, which is 1, I can move 1 victim of my choice 1 space. But for every 2 that are not a success, I kill a victim. So he's dead anyway. Which means this goes up again, which means another terror card gets discarded. Okay, so all that's left to do really is start attacking. Because, yeah, that's really all there is left. Okay. So there's nobody to panic. There is an upkeep phase, but there's no victims to move. So let's just go for it. Let's see, I'm 3 spaces away from Geppetto. If the killer phase happens and all 3 of them are in my space, I lose all of my remaining health. So we definitely want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Let's go ahead and do a walk. Nope. Only 2 dice, because our horror level just went back up. I've only got 1 focus card. Alright, that's 1 success. So I get to move 1 space. Then I'm going to let's go ahead and weak attack them. Ooh, nice. 2 successes. That means I don't lose any health. So 2 successes means I get 2 points of attack, 1 from the weak attack card and 1 from the throwing axe. So I can kill 2 of these guys. And they go into the exhausted state. Okay. So that will that will give me at least a couple of turns where I don't have to worry about them coming at me. Yeah, I lost the time for that. Okay, so I'm gonna go for a sprint now. Oof, oof. Not great. Let's get rid of the short rest and focus to turn that partial into a success, so that I can move 2 spaces and only lose 1 time. 1, 2. And let's try to take some damage off of Mr. Geppetto. Come on. Definitely using my close call on that one. Still failed. Which means I lose a health, horror level goes up, and it immediately ends my turn. Alright, so I've got 2 points. I'll take this focus. And I kinda have to take this guard. Well, his attack's only 2. But if that guy gets over to me and the terror card is also an attack, whew, that's not going to be good. So yeah, I'm going to take this guard card. That's probably going to be my best chance. Alrighty. So, their turn. So, puppets first. These 2 will move up to ready. This one can move up to 3 spaces towards me. 1, 2. And then Geppetto gets to attack me for 2 damage. And I will guard against that. Ugh. Not great. If I change that, I still reduce it by 1. Yeah. I'll just take 1 point of damage. Yeah, that stays there. Alright, then we draw a terror card. I'm all wrapped up and I can't get free. So, he targets the final girl, moves, and attacks. Oh, both of them do. So this is it. This is... So, the puppet would go first, take 1 health token. Then Geppetto would come at me, taking both of these health tokens. So the only way I stay in this game is if I have some health under this final health token. So let's see if the game will continue or if that's the end. Oh, oh wow, okay. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. So I need to dig in this box and get the white health token. I was definitely not expecting that. Okay. So, I managed to stay alive. So, that's something. All right. All right. Next, place the rope trap in my space. And immediately apply the trap's effects. Where's the rope trap? There it is. Okay, immediately apply its effects to you and any victims in your space. So the rope trap means I discard one action card at random. So I'm shuffling up my action cards here. And I discard one. It's a focus. That's fine. Okay. If a walk or sprint was discarded, which it was not, then the horror level would increase. Okay, awesome. So the horror level didn't increase. That's the end of the killer's turn. There's nobody to panic, and let's see. During the upkeep, each victim moves one space towards a trap, but there's no victims on the board. So, nobody to move towards that trap. So we are back to my turn, in which I will play my one and only walk card to hopefully get away from these guys for a minute so I can regroup. Okay. So I get to move one space. I'll move to the big top. Now I can buy cards. So I'm torn here. I could buy a Furious Strike, yes. Or I could buy a Retaliate. Or I could buy a Guard card and then some combination of lower value cards. If there's an attack on here, I'm going to need to be able to fend it off, we'll say. If there's movement on there, I'm going to need to be able to fend off two of them, but there's no way that's going to happen. All right. I don't have any cards to discard, so I can gain a... Don't have any cards to discard to gain a time so that I can get both the Retaliate and the Guard. Okay, I'm going to take the Retaliate. That way if I need to... One, two, three, four. That way if I need to block, I can also do some damage. And then with my last point, I will take a close call. And then, of course, my 0 cost. We'll see how that does for me. Okay. That brings us back to the killer turn. So, a new minion spawns, and they both, since there are no victims, they both move towards me. And then Geppetto can attack, but there's nobody in his space. Terror card. There's movement and attack, which means I most likely am dead. Not most likely, I am. I am dead. Okay, so first, the horror level increased. Since there's no victims, I'm not even going to bother rolling those dice. Then they target me, move, and attack, starting with the minions. I can't take both of their attacks. I can only take one, which means when Geppetto comes over here, I'm dead. So let's just go ahead and well, either way, when Geppetto comes over here, I'm dead. Trying to think of any way out of this. With my current hand, I don't think I have one. Because if I use Retaliate against the first minion, if I get 2 successes, I can kill both minions and then not take that attack. But then Geppetto comes and attacks for 2, and I'm dead. Because this will already be used. If I don't use this, both the minions attack me for 1 each, and I'm dead. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yep. So might as well not die to a minion, hopefully. We'll discard the focus and walk. Turn one of those into a success, so I can at least take out one of the minions. Then Geppetto would come over here, and he would attack for 2, which would kill me. So, that is Geppetto at the Carnival of Blood. Come back next week, and we will be playing Geppetto at Camp Happy Trails, and hopefully fare a little bit better. Thanks for watching.